Dr. Gaikwad, Dr. Rupa, Mahesh sir, if you are there, I hope you are there.
Yes, I'm
yes,
there.
ma'am. We are all there.
My video, please.
The host has stopped the video.
Sure.
Kansham sir, if you can allow us to put the video on.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Yes, thank you.
Good evening, all of you. Greetings to all the ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Dr. Baliram Gaikwad, Vice Principal and Head, Department of English from Acharya and Marathi College, Chembur, and my co-host, Mrs. Rupa Rao. Welcome you all in this valedictory ceremony session today. All friends, those who have been with us in this international conference on empirical and theoretical research online, ICETR 2020, organized by International Board for Education, Research and Development. Dear colleagues, any activity of this high magnitude demands collective efforts from all directions. And we would like to underscore here that the role of all our collaborators have been equally crucial in shaping this conference. I wholeheartedly welcome our international collaborators, VIA University College, Denmark, Klepedia State University Applied Sciences, Lithuania, London School of Business and Entrepreneurship, London, and Interwise Education Private Limited, India. And also a warm welcome to our co-organizers, Clara College of Commerce, Warsaw, Mumbai, Somopant Dandekar Arts, VS Apte Commerce and MH Mehta Science College, Palghar, Maharashtra, Sahyadri Shikshan Seva Mandal's Arts and Commerce College uh, as District Palghar, Maharashtra, India, Vivek College of Commerce, Goregaon, Mumbai, Maharashtra, India. Friends, to begin with the valedictory session, I would like to invite Dr. Minakshi Gurav, President of International Board for Education, Research and Development, for her introductory remarks on this occasion. Dr. Minakshi, ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Bairam. Honorable guest of this function, Dr. Mukund Chorghade, President and CSO, Think Pharma USA, officials from collaborating colleges, plenary talk speakers, chairs, co-chairs of different sessions, delegates, and my team IBERD. Good evening, one and all. We are now summarizing the conference, and I'm happy to express my gratitude to everyone present here. The International Board for Education, Research and Development has successfully taken a step towards its objective of collaborating global academic and research institutes to strengthen research and academic ecosystem. The organization, which is just a year old, is glad on this occasion to see the overwhelming response by the researchers from varied backgrounds. Eminent plenary talk speakers boosted our morale by giving their valuable time to make this platform real knowledge sharing. Chair and co-chair of all the sessions were very keen in giving their constant encouragement, critical suggestions, and stimulating discussions. The talk of the Nobel Laureate Sir Robert Richard was the feather in the cap. It shifted our spirit and affirmed an enlightened cognizance in each of us. I must express my deep sense of gratitude to each one of this for extending their help for this forum. Dear delegates, I'm sure that you would have enjoyed the 2 days and you will appreciate that we use each and every moment to give you knowledge. In all, 83 presentations is a real success of this forum, which is made possible by the delegates. Very appealing is the energy that our delegates showed and their great interest in the topics that we line up. Looking back into the journey of the conference, we just a month before the wheel of this conference thought started rotating. When everything was locked down, a thought of conference peeped in out of my mind and the whole team stood by me. It was a roller coaster ride, but everyone gave his contribution without any hesitation. This moment is still like a dream that happened true within a month out of sleepless nights. The sleepless nights were for my team as well as for the delegates too, because we kept on giving deadlines to them one after another, and every delegate has cooperated with us with their timely submissions. I'm sure that the blend like you in the team IBERD is going to achieve its mission of becoming a valuable resource for the society. We have one more eminent personality in a row to share his expertise. I'm sure that you will enjoy his talk too. With a lot of love and affection to everyone and deep sense of gratitude, I appeal you to have your faith on us as you have shown this time. The journey will continue, and if the conditions permit, we will meet in Japan for the third episode of this conference. Thank you, everyone. Thanks a lot. Namaskar.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for your detailed guidance. Now I invite Professor Mahesh Deshmukh to read the report of this conference.
Thank you, Baliram. Friends, ladies and gentlemen, good evening to all of you. I am here to present the report of the conference which took place during the last 2 days. Presenting before you the report of such an exhaustive and enriching conference within the time limit of 10 minutes is like trimming down one's own grades. But I will try my best to keep to the precise. The second international conference on empirical and theoretical research online, known as ICETR 2020, was organized by International Board for Education, Research and Development in collaboration with VIA University College, Denmark, Klaipeda State University of Applied Sciences, Lithuania, London School of Business and Entrepreneurship, London, Interwise Education Private Limited, India, and co-organized by Clara's College of Commerce, Warsaw, Mumbai, Maharashtra, Somopant Dandekar Arts, VS Apte Commerce and MH Mehta Science College, Palghar, Maharashtra, India, Sahyadri Seva Mandal's Arts and Commerce College, Juchandra, District Palghar, Maharashtra, India, and Vivek College of Commerce, Goregaon, Mumbai, Maharashtra, which has reached to its conclusion today. The virtual conference seemed challenging in its initial days due to the pandemic, but determined to establish a platform for collaborative learning and research of sociological impact, things made its way smoothly, highlighting the thought, where there is a will, there is a way. Blending together the experiences and enthusiasm of the organizers and the participants, this 2-day conference turned out to be fruitful for all of us. This journey of meeting, engaging, and sharing of ideas started with the inaugural function, paying respect to our motherland and extending a warm welcome to all the dignitaries. Even during this pandemic, coupled by the cyclonic condition in Maharashtra, we are fortunate enough to connect to our partners, speakers, and participants across the globe virtually, seamlessly. Soon after the welcome, we had our president of IBERD, Dr. Minakshi Guru Madam, introducing the core of IBERD to all, aiming to create a stance for quality research and innovation. She expressed her gratitude towards all the partners for striving hard and the unconditional support rendered by them during this pandemic. Taking the ceremony forward, we had our collaborators, Mrs. Vijetha Suslin, Project Coordinator, VIA University College, Denmark, Dr. Rijimisas Kenderis, Deputy Director, Strategic Development and Chairman, Academic Council, Klaipeda State University of Applied Sciences, Lithuania, Mr. Sohel Rao, Director of Studies, London School of Business and Entrepreneurship, and our own Mr. Kamendra Dahat, Managing Director, Interadvise Education Private Limited, India. They presented their views about the conference, emphasizing the fundamental issues pertaining to the global research and development. All the representatives showed their happiness to join this platform. The most awaited moment for the day was to hear and assimilate the thought of none other than Padma Vibhushan, Honorable Dr. Anil Kakodkar Sir, former Chairman, Atomic Energy Commission of India and former Director, Bhabha Atomic Research Center, Mumbai, who inaugurated the conference. Taking pride, Mrs. Surekha Shetty, Joint Secretary IBERD, introduced and welcomed him, charging of all the people present virtually on board. Don't seek praise. Let your efforts speak for itself. Exemplificating this, we had Honorable Anil Kapadkar sir, who not only motivated us to strive for excellence, but widen our horizons to think beyond our comfort zones and beyond our key areas of specialization. To pursue quality education and research should be knowledge-driven rather than numbers. He urged again and again the importance and need of pursuing interdisciplinary research and translating theoretical foundations into the empirical one. Identifying the problem areas, especially in India, which is a land of villages, is vital. Calling out the translating research, not just the papers or patents, but pinning down them to the grass level. We end the inaugural session with high note and much to take away. With all the participants gearing up for their presentations, we had Dr. Bhushan Langri, Secretary IBERD, who proposed the formal vote of thanks, summing up the inaugural session. Soon after the lunch break, rather I will call it as an online lunch break, we had cherry on the cake. Yes, I am talking about the plenary sessions which ran simultaneously in each of the technical sessions by distinguished guests, TED Talk speakers and renowned academicians across the globe on topics ranging from psychological impact of COVID, works on D.H. Lawrence, theoretical visibility versus empirical visibility, sons and lovers, a case study, online teaching, novel aquatic system to the future research in the European Union, US-China-Germany relations status in the situation of COVID-19, and many more diverse topics ranging from grassroots to the sky. The exposure was incredible. Moving towards the cruise of these collaborative efforts of organizing technical sessions, the conference witnessed 6 technical sessions on each day. In total, 12 running parallelly with 82 presenters and brainstorming research of more than 100 authors from interiors of the Maharashtra to Denmark, who put forth their pie of research work. The works touch every aspect in and around us, right from pandemic to data sciences. The beauty of the literary works convinced by the various authors were so thoughtful and mesmerizing that it left its footprints. It covered works of fiction, goddesses, languages, and to our surprise, Bloom taxonomy too found its place in humanities. Interlocking the subjectivity and objectivity of the theoretical background of curriculum to employability skills, the research study comprehended all with grace. We had the journey right from the historical glimpses to the current financial aspect, taking it forward towards the sustainable technologies for the generations to come by. The research work were on similar lines as envisioned by the chief guest speaker, Padma Vibhushan Honorable Dr. Anil Kapadkar sir and the organizing team, infusing and translating theoretical and empirical research to add to the reservoir of the knowledge and leave no stones unturned in the bringing the best out of everything. IBERD organized a phenomenal session on the path to the Nobel Prize, an online talk by Sir Richard Roberts, Nobel Laureate in medicine and physiology. His journey of reaching from nobody to everybody was encouraging and soothing to the soul. The session was attended not only by the participant, but reached out to the thousands of the students and faculties all over through YouTube Live. With his words of encouragement, budding researchers could foresee their journey towards sky. He enshrined within us the power to dream and motivation to strive towards it. The entire family of the 2-day conference welcomed the second day with all positive vibes and deliberations. For plenary talks and the parallel session, the enthusiasm was at its peak. Recognizing and appreciating the talent served as one of the pillars while striving for the excellence, and therefore, the team decided to award Best Presenter in each session. Soon after this, we shall conclude this diverse and enriching 2 days virtual conference, which was as fruitful as a traditional one, connecting all of us together with valedictory program. It shall witness the concluding remarks from our patrons and advisors sharing their experiences. I would like just to say with all my heart, unity is strength. When there is teamwork and collaborations, wonderful things will easily be achieved. Ladies and gentlemen, you all are great collaborators. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mahesh sir. That was a wonderful deliberation of the entire 2 day. We heard it all in the last 10 minutes. Thank you so much. Moving on, I would now request Dr. Vijetha Shetty, Principal, Vivek College of Commerce, Goregaon, Mumbai. We request her to kindly share her views on the conference. Ma'am, are you here?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, thank you.
Good evening to one and all. On behalf of Vivek College of Commerce, Goregaon, Mumbai, India, I congratulate the entire team of IBERD, especially President Dr. Minakshi Gurav, for organizing this 2 days e-conference ICETR 2020 very successfully. In spite of COVID-19 pandemic, this conference has proved that the spirit of undertaking research activities, building up research culture amongst the academician will always continue. The conference has been truly multidisciplinary and collaborative in nature, with research papers presented across the discipline, across the globe, on topical areas, throwing open a wide platform for everyone. I think the takeover of this conference has been the eminent speakers, with the opening remarks of none other than Dr. Anil Kakurkar, sir, and also the session by Nobel Laureate Sir Richard Roberts, which was like an icing on the cake for this conference. Vivek College is happy to collaborate with IBERD and for this conference, and we also look forward to partner with IBERD in future too. As a principal of the college, I express my gratitude to the management of Vivek Education Society for their support, my team, with a special thanks to Professor Anupama Bali and Dr. Neelu Khosla for helping in this conference. I also congratulate all the delegates for presenting their papers and wish they continue writing good quality research paper in future too. At the end, I quote what Swami Vivekanand had said, "Arise and awake and stop not till your goals are achieved." Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you very much for your words of wisdom. Ma'am, after this, now we proceed with, I would like to request Advocate Girijashankar Tiwari, sir, President, Somopant Dandekar Shikshan Mandali, Maharashtra, India, to guide us on this occasion. Advocate Girijashankar Tiwari ji.
Good evening to all of you. I congratulate all the participants. And really, we are very fortunate that yesterday only, great eminent nuclear scientist, Dr. Anil Kakurkar inaugurated this seminar. Really, I am also thinking myself to be lucky to participate in. This is a privilege, this is a pride given to our college and especially to me as its president. Though I have not presented any paper, but I have some ideas about research, which I am going to put here in few words. As you know, that IBERD is doing this very good work since 2-3 years back. Now we are passing very critical time of COVID-19. We will not forget this. This is such a conference that we will, a unique conference I will say, because we will not forget this period, a crucial period we are passing. Already successfully, we have experienced Nisarg. And same time, when we are now holding this conference, we are passing the COVID. 19. Research is such a subject for which no subject required. On any subject we can make research. As it is said that necessity is the mother of invention. But research is more than that. Research is always a means, not end, I will say. It never ends. Go on making research as possible as you can. I think had Swami Vivekananda alive at this time, he would have been really very happy because he had dreamt at that time that research must be made in all fields. That was his message. And that is what he has stated, that expand your heart and hopes as wide as world. That was the message given by him. Mahatma Gandhi has stated the self-experience and whatever experiments in life, it itself is research. So research has a wide meaning. It has a wide sense. To take any subject, you can make research. Every experiment is a research. And Swami Vivekananda, he had further stated that research means not end, but to achieve means, it is a means to achieve our goal. And that is what he has stated, that for research, physical, emotional, and intellectual energies are required to be brought together. Then only you can make research. Research is really nothing. One should not think that he is getting degree of PhD and therefore he should make research. Every person has right to make research in the subject he likes. While making research, you will have to make so many efforts. It is experiment. It is experiment just in the laboratory. In all subjects. Remember, Winston Churchill has stated that success is not final. A particular goal is there, and accordingly you achieve that does not mean it is the end. Success is not a final, and if it is failure is not fatal. Still you can go. It is a courage to be continued forever, to achieve whatever you want. Then it is the research. Research is nothing but our own spiritual courage. We must do something. We must achieve something. Then only we can do it. In these few words, I cannot, you see, so far a subject is concerned, I cannot say what is research. But so I understand in practical sense what is the research. That is what I have stated. All right, all of you, best of all of you, take care of COVID-19 and let us fight. You fought. And let us make research also why COVID-19 had taken place. Let us make research. Those who are in the field of science, they will make research definitely. And let this our seminar be successful. Thank you. Congratulate all of you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for those lovely words on research. I now request Mr. Vinay Gopikisan Patil, Chairman, Managing Director, Sahyadri Shikshan Seva Mandal's Arts and Commerce College, Juchandra, District Palghar, Maharashtra, to guide us on to speak to us and guide us on this occasion. Gopikisan sir, are you here?
Madam.
Yes, sir.
I, on behalf of my Institute, Sahyadri Shikshan Seva Mandal, Arts and Commerce College, Juchandra, thanks President Dr. Minakshi, Gurav, and the entire team of IBERD for this honor and for inviting our institute to be a part of this well-conceived conference. I am not expert in this field of academics, but definitely hold the mission of providing quality education to the entire community. This platform
Yes, sir.
I am not expert in this field of academics.
Sir, you're unmuted again. You have to unmute again, sir.
The mission of providing
Sir, are you there?
Maybe network issue, madam.
Yeah, Vinay, sir, are you there?
I think Vinay sir, join हो सकता है तुम्ही? I think there are some network issues.
Can we go ahead, ma'am?
Regards, Vinay sir, आम्ही आभारी आहोत तुमच्या शुभेच्छा आमच्या सोबत आहेत आणि नेटवर्क इश्यू असल्यामुळे विल गो अहेड. Thank you, sir. Thank you for being with us. Rupat, carry on.
Yeah. Thank you so much, sir. And thank you, ma'am, for giving us the permission to go ahead. Success is no accident. It is a hard work, perseverance, learning, studying, sacrificing, and most of all, love of what you are doing and learning to do. I now request Mrs. Sureka Shetty, Joint Secretary, IBERD, to introduce the chief guest of the session, Honorable Dr. Mukund Chorgade, sir, to us.
Rupa, before that, there is a slight change into that. Ajay Kaul sir's message will be read by Dr. Minakshi Guru, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. There's a little change. I'm sorry about that. Mr. Ajay Kaul, General Secretary, Children Welfare Center, Mumbai, had expressed his inability to join us. But now our dear President, Dr. Minakshi Gurav, will be reading his message to us. Yes, ma'am. Over to you, ma'am.
Okay. I'm conveying the regards on behalf of Honorable Mr. Ajay Kaul, as he could not join us. And he says that he is very happy to collaborate with us, and his best wishes he has conveyed to everyone who is a part of this conference. So I thank Honorable Mr. Ajay Kaul for your best wishes. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am, for reading that out for us. I now invite Mrs. Sureka Shetty, Joint Secretary, IBERD, to introduce the chief guest of the session, Honorable Dr. Mukund Chorgade, sir, for us. Yes, ma'am, you can start.
Good evening, everyone. At the very outset, I congratulate all the delegates for being with us since yesterday. These 2 days were very brainstorming and it still continues. Today, we have Dr. Mukund Chorgade, President and Chief Scientific Officer, Think Pharma, MERC Research and CSO, Chicago Discovery Solutions, CBD Sciences Group. I'm very delighted to introduce such a versatile person with a very huge expertise. He has had adjunct research professor, visiting fellow, scientist appointments at Caltech, Harvard, MIT, Princeton, Rutgers, University of Chicago, Cambridge, Strathclyde, UK, ICT, KHRC, India, and others. He provides synthetic chemistry and pharmaceutical development expertise to academic laboratories, pharmaceutical and biopharmaceutical companies. His research interests are in process chemistry, derived medicinal chemistry, traditional medicine, and derived new chemical entities. His discovery of sterically protected and electronically activated metalloporphyrin catalyst called chemosynthetic levers found utility in drug metabolism, valorization of biomass, and environmental remediation. He has been a recipient of 3 Scientist of the Year awards and is on the scientific advisory board of several corporations and foundations. He has been honored by election as a fellow of the ACS, AAAS, AIC, ISCB, and RSE, Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh, and Telangana Academy of Sciences, and has been a featured speaker in several national and international symposia. He is a certified CGLP and CGMP professional, and he was privileged to become an American Chemical Society member in 1982. He was section chair of Brazoria and of the Northeastern section in 2007. He was chair of the Princeton section for 2019 and currently serves on its board of directors. He is an active participant in ACS Career Services, Professional Development, Entrepreneurship, and the Small Chemicals Business Division. He was the secretary of the Division on Chemistry and Human Health of IUPAC and served on the commissions on biotechnology, medicinal chemistry, new technologies, special topics, and the US National Committee for IUPAC. He is the chair of the RSC Committee on Process Chemistry and Technology 2018 and 20. We feel proud to have such a personality amongst us. So, your presence and gentle words would be a source of encouragement for all of us. Without taking much time, I would like to request Dr. Mukund Sorgade to enlighten us with his inspirational speech.
So thank you very much. Now, how do I go about sharing my screen?
So you will see a green icon with an arrow on top. If you click that, you will be able to share your screen.
Okay, I think I've just done that, though.
So you will have to choose the window which you want us to see. Once you click on share screen, it will take you to your desktop where you have your windows open. You'll have to click on it. Yes, sir.
Are you seeing it now?
So we're seeing your desktop. So you'll have to open. Yes, sir. You're clicking on it.
Okay, lovely. Well, allow me at the outset to say what a delightful honor and pleasure it is for me to participate in this particular valedictory function of an organization which I knew nothing about until about 2 weeks ago. But now, after listening to all these uh, things, even in the plenary session, having executives and other board members and professors talk about what is a shared vision, I am indeed extremely and extraordinarily encouraged. You know, many times it is the job of a chief guest to just say a few words, and many times those words are not particularly profound words. In fact, Pula Deshpande once joked that the most terrifying words in Marathi are when somebody makes a speech and begins by saying that I will not take too much of your time, I will just speak for 2 words, and then about 2 hours later they are still rambling on. So I feel it is my job to first of all compliment you, the organizers of this conference. Now regrettably I wasn't able to hear all of it because of the time difference. I am now in New Jersey, 9.5 hours behind. But allow me to share some of my thoughts, not only on some of the fun work it's been my pleasure and privilege to do myself, but also tell you something about the magnificent collaborators and the teams I have lined up, and more important, exhort you to consider more and more forming these academic and industrial networks so that we can all further the cause of development, expertise, and so on and so forth. Now, very briefly, my name, as you can see, is Mukund Sorghade. I have a very checkered history. My great great ancestor in 1773 actually worked for the Bhoslas of Nagpur, who was one of the pillars of the Marathi Empire, and then he was given a job one day of how to defeat the Hyder Nizam of Hyderabad. It turns out that the Nizam of Hyderabad had a very powerful horse cavalry, and my great ancestor conceived of a brilliant idea, oh, by the way, of stealing those horses after infiltrating behind enemy lines. So the battle was duly won, and in result, my ancestor was given the title of Chor Ghode because the battle was turned that way. Now things have changed considerably since then. I no longer steal horses as his ancestor, but I'm here to steal your hearts and your minds and so on. So then things evolved literally. My great ancestor became one of the Sadetin Shahane of the Peshwas. So you can see now the half Shahana coming here incarnated in myself. So what do I do in as far as research goes? I am a dyed-in-the-wool synthetic organic chemist. I came to the America to do my PhD, my postdoc, and then my industrial career and so on. But I have never ever forgotten about my native roots. So in my heart, I am an Indian, I am a Punekar, I am a Mumbaikar, I am a Nagpurkar, and so on and so forth. In about 1991, I started coming to India 4 to 6 times a year because I quickly realized that there is an enormous wealth of talent available in this country, which it behooves of us to exploit to the maximum possible extent. Then we set up this company called as Think Pharma, and I am eternally indebted to some magnificent collaborators I've had in India, and I continue to build the team. Prominent among this will be Uday Ohre, who's done an absolutely yeoman service and job of setting up all the organization and so on. And more important, my company is not just that of chemists alone. We have marketing people, we have other people who can bring their very valuable perspectives and education. So what is Think Pharma? It is set up officially to do a whole lot of work around many factors. One is development of technologies. Now the name Think is derived from somebody ceding me a trademark after he sold his computer company to the US Navy. And Think really stands for technology. Then H is for health, I is for innovation, N is for novelty, and the Q finally comes from the quality section. Please remember that all the work for regulatory agencies and all must conform to quality, and I have a childlike fascination for being the Mr. Q of James Bond fame. So having said that, again, allow me to reiterate what a magnificent pleasure it is for me to participate even in a small way in the deliberations of this particular conference. So now what can I tell you about India, the state of the pharmaceutical industry and so on? This is really my favorite slide. For years, we have always believed that America is the nerve center of all the innovation. That is definitely possible. But unfortunately, we have set up all these pharma research labs. We have gone about doing some enormous amount of work in drug discovery, then developing, and then people. The sad part of it is that we have become a country of pharma users, and we consume too many drugs that are good for us. We start at a very young age with amoxicillin, then we go on to 4 to 12 age when we start taking attention deficit disorder drugs, which are Ritalin. Then we go on to the appetite suppressants because we all want to look good. Then we are going to colleges and so on, and then we start taking no dose tablets to maybe stay late or party late. Then we balance the pressures of family and career with Prozac that you are seeing there. Then you reach my age group. It used to be called old fogies or something, I prefer the new term of chronologically gifted. And then above 65, we start taking too many pharmaceuticals. The average American consumes between 12 to 19 drugs per day. And this is surely not good for us. Now, in an Indian context, I would like to highlight that we have a whole rich heritage of Ayush medicines. But unfortunately, we operate in different silos and we don't always effect an intellectual merger of the Ayush therapeutics and the Western allopathic therapeutics. So this is something much to be benefited from just about all concerned. So with that slide being shown, allow me to once again encourage the thoughts of innovation. Now, many times I go to universities, particularly in India and so on, people like do not bother to teach the innovation. Everybody focuses on the assigned coursework, then people are examined, but there is very little thought given to what can I do to realistically change the traditional thinking around me. And with our mindsets, we are enormously powerful and so on. So this is an incremental, emergent or radical and revolutionary change in thinking. I mean the word in every context. It has to be a revolutionary change. It brings new ideas to the table. It comprises ideas and everything that are particularly important and brings value propositions to the marketplace. Now, let me give you a perfect example of Indian innovation. And again, it is thinking very differently from the traditional. There was an Indian businessman based in New York who went to the Chemical Bank of New York, applied for a loan of $10,000, and in return, he pledged to hypothecate his 560 SE Mercedes Benz car, which was costing about $80,000. All the bankers thought he was completely crazy. But they said, who are we to complain? The man is a fool. So they gave him the $10,000 loan at 9% interest. They took away his car keys and took away the car and put it in the basement of a skyscraper in New York. 3 weeks later, he came back, he repaid the loan and an interest payment of $26.72. Now, then they asked him that you Indians, this is very crazy. Why did you need a loan of $10,000? You have $250,000 in your saving. You have another $500,000 in your investment funds. He says, you guys are foolish. I was going on a business trip to Mumbai, India, and to park my car, expensive car in downtown Manhattan, cost me $50 per day. I have just gotten the same job done from you for about 26.72. Now that is very creative thinking. That is innovation. But innovation, please remember, is not, I repeat the word not, it is not the same as jugaad. And people try to cut corners much to their detriment because jugaad arises from creative, not so creative thinking. Now, my perfect example of that is I've encountered a famous medical doctor who was being approached by patients to prescribe them one thing or another because, oh, now they have become a little richer and their insurance may pay for it. So this man actually could not diagnose what is wrong with a particular patient, and he simply told the patient to go ahead and sleep on a block of ice for 8 hours, then go and have a holy dip in the Mura Mutha or whatever river at 4 in the morning and come back and have 2 gallons of ice cream. Then the patient said, but will that cure me, doctor? The doctor said, I don't know, but you are sure to get pneumonia. And I learned in medical school, I have memorized what tablets to prescribe you for that. So that is not what I talk about when I say innovation. Now, please remember a very, very important thing. Invention is the conversion of cash into ideas. Invention happens when academics and other people get grants from NIH or DST or UGC or whatever. They get a certain chunk of grants. Then with the help of students, they start generating ideas. Maybe they start generating some precise results of their work. But please remember that innovation is really the conversion of ideas into cash, because one has to monetize all the clever ideas that one has indeed generated. Now compare Thomas Edison to Nikola Tesla. Tesla was indeed an inventor. He spent a lot of his money, frequently his own money, to generate inventions. But he was never able to commercialize those inventions. Thomas Alva Edison, who you all know, and he has a lab within 20 miles of where I live right now, and you can visit it. But he was a true innovator. He made money from his ideas. He has a 1,000 patents. And all of the modern things we see, like cinematography and all that, was invented by Thomas Alva Edison. And of course, you know the stories of the electric bulbs. Now, this gentleman did not ever have a college degree. And therefore, the Academy of Sciences says, haha, you cannot be our member. And he said, okay, no big deal. I'm much richer than you. I'm doing better than you. And more people are using my invention. Take a look at the sewing machine, first invented by Elias Howe. But who commercialized it? It was Isaac Singer. Now, all of you would remember, even in your childhood, we all had a Singer sewing machine at home. It became almost iconic, and people started talking of that with as much respect as a Xerox machine. In fact, somebody else told me that in India, some people used to ask for Singer sewing machines as part of the Dahej and all that stuff. So now, the vacuum cleaner was invented by J. Murray Spangler, who called it the electric suction sweeper. But W.H. Hoover knew how to market it, called it the vacuum cleaner. So guess which word is used today? Guess whose brand has become omnipresent? Invention may occur in the laboratory, but innovation must take place in the marketplace. It is that creative process that must include all business functions to be successful. What is a almost classical example of innovation here? Many people, especially the elderly, they were falling down from stairs and so on, people in their 80s, and they would fracture their spine. They would have been confining to a wheelchair, and medical care was very, very expensive. One fine day, one inventor got the idea that we are all using these bags in cars which prevent collision, which save a lot of lives. So he essentially made a little girdle which older people can put around the waist. So that if they do fall, the bag will inflate and then people's spine will be protected. Now the state of Massachusetts has made this mandatory for anybody riding a horse. But just think of the wonderful innovation that really took place here. And that was something that arose indeed from the marketplace itself. So we were all very pleased to find out about things like that. So innovation begins with market need. It succeeds through collaboration. Now, I cannot overemphasize this particular point. Look at even your organization. It has all the people and all the ingredients to succeed through collaboration. You have academic faculty members trained in every field, from botany, zoology, through chemistry, through physics. A gentleman who spoke here was an attorney, he was a lawyer. Then there are other people who are working on boards and all that. All these teams absolutely have to come together. We cannot allow ourselves to be just siloed and simply say, my expertise is this and your expertise is in that. So one identifies these opportunities based on a very, very deep market knowledge. You select the best opportunities for your business. You integrate these with your core accessible competencies. Manage and execute the projects with an intent to win. How do I do it? Well, I fancy myself, if you will, as a chemist who makes inventions. Then I consult the academic faculty like Professor Varsha Mane in Mumbai and her colleagues who have some expertise in biotechnology. I consult with other people who have expertise in industrial chemistry, and then I also seek the lot of help of my think team. And Uday Hore has always taught me a little bit of the basics of the marketplace in India. This is knowledge that I could not possibly acquire on my own, so one has to depend on the teams. And Jayan Shaligram is an advocate who also helps me sort through a lot of the issues. I won't belabor this point, but we in chemistry have made major innovations in different decades, ranging from fibers, better food we eat, and so on and so forth. So this continues and is a perfectly superb ongoing process today. And you will have access to all these slides, so let's not worry about it. Let me tell you of some incredible stories of innovation. Now we'll bypass Rich Roberts. You already heard him yesterday. But here is a gentleman who started as a chemist, did a postdoc in molecular biology, then got a Nobel Prize and founded New England Biolabs. Today, it is a biolab that makes $1 billion in sales each year. My favorite is Sir Andre Geim. His story is truly revolutionary. He was a physicist born in Russia, didn't really know what to do, so he started putting a frog in a magnetic field and started work on levitating the frog. He wanted to see if the frog rises on its own in a magnetic field. Now, for his reward, if you will, he got the Ig Nobel Prize. Now, this is a famous prize that is given. It is not necessarily a compliment to win it because it talks about research that should never ever be duplicated by anybody ever. The ceremony is held in Boston and you are given the prize by a real Nobel laureate. So Sir Andre Geim was awarded this Ig Nobel Prize, came on stage and promised that one day he will win the real Nobel. And he did his research. He is known for the invention of graphene. He took a lead pencil and peeled off successive layers using a scotch tape. So today it has led to several entrepreneurial business. And now look at Walter Gilbert, again, PhD physics, postdoc molecular biology, got a Nobel Prize in chemistry, founded Biogen. Look at Frances Arnold. She got her BSc in mechanical and aerospace engineering, then a PhD in chemical engineering, a Nobel Prize in chemistry. So what is the moral from all this? That be on the lookout. Keep your eyes and ears open where you might be able to contribute. It does not behoove of anybody to say, I am a physicist, I am a botanist, I am a lawyer, I am this thing like that. Keep your eyes and ears open. Frequently students ask me, oh, is there scope for mechanical engineering in America? Well, yes, there is, but it's useful across the board in many fields whatsoever. Here are some of the mega trends and growth opportunities, and some of you are very familiar with that. We all need safe and abundant water. Of course, there's a lot of research innovation to be done in climate change and so on. Of course, we need more and better food, a lot of renewable energy, safety and security, and so on. So this is now part of the lexicon of the sciences. Now, when I finished my master's degree, there was a famous Nobel laureate called Sir John Cornford who said that it does no good to offer an elegant, difficult, and expensive process to an industrial manufacturing chemist. And that time there was so much of a gulf between academics and industry, even in America and England. And people were looking upon industry as, hi, this is not real research, this is something called applied research. I have never understood why applied research is looked on with disdain. It is through applied research that you are going to get to use a product that has been generated through an idea. Many people had no idea what industrial chemistry was, and they thought that if you have developed some lab work and you have to scale it up, all you have to do is a flask that reaches out to the skies and your job is done. But that is not the case. Now here is another one. Now the government requirements have increased so much that it is actually stifling the innovation. This man says, here is my main plant and the back wing is where we handle the government paperwork. I can vouch for that. For all the talk everybody has about reducing the bureaucracy and all that, these compliance requirements have become so intense that it just takes up a lot of the valuable time. So the contemporary chemist view is to design and execute safe, efficient, and reproducible processes for active pharma ingredients through a whole synergy between all these fields. Now, why do I look upon India so heavily? Of course, it is the gateway to international collaboration. But ladies and gentlemen, please remember, India is not to be looked on as a place just for doing business on the cheap. India has to be looked upon as a place where the talents, the skills, the extreme rigor of many people is indeed brought to the table. There is no room for jugaad but the academic and intellectual skills of my countrymen have to be duly recognized. Sometimes there are all these goof-ups, and some of them are engineered by our own companies themselves. He says, your order was for a camel, but we didn't understand what it was. It was a jugaad, so we are now delivering an elephant to you. That is not going to work. This whole outsourcing bit has been used in an extraordinarily pejorative sense, where people feel that they have even outsourced Santa Claus. Well, that is also not quite correct. Let me give you an example of Indian innovation at its most brilliant. Every reaction that you see here has been done by absolutely brilliant Indian students at National Chemical Laboratory Pune and also the IISCT. So this is a famous drug that was being done for the study of asthma, for as a curative agent for atopic dermatitis, psoriasis. The medicinal chemistry route shown on this slide is ridiculously inefficient, and not all of you are chemists, but you don't have to worry. Suffice it to say that to make 1 kilo of this would have cost $1.6 million. So we put a team of 6 PhD students in place, and they all worked at NCL. Now remember, they never had the experience, but they were eager, willing to learn, and we came up with these new processes. We incorporated a lot of the new reactions that were pioneered in Harvard and Cambridge. And yes, of course, I have friendships with them, but we implemented all this here. So this final product, we made 1.2 tons at $800 per kilo. Now, this is one of the true success stories. Unfortunately, the drug did not quite make it all the way and failed. Here is another classic way sometimes you get ideas. So this slide shows you, look in the middle. We were doing a coupling of two components, and all of a sudden the government of Andhra Pradesh reported that they have 18 tons of surplus of this trimethoxybenzaldehyde. So he says anybody who can use it can do it so for free. So we said, aha, if we just switch these functionalities, we are going to clearly see that we can use that trimethoxybenzaldehyde. And Dr. Aminul Islam in our lab, who was a PhD student then, but he has risen to a position of vice president now, he immediately literally ran from dinner into the lab and worked pretty much for 2 days and got it to work. Now, I cannot ask for anything more than that. Everything that I encourage my students to do is, please, if you have a good idea, if something like that, go ahead and do it. Do not ask for my permission to do it, because a lot of people have generated some best ideas by, if necessary, ignoring my advice. Now, what are we doing for Think Pharmaceuticals? This Ayush therapeutics is a lot in the news. And I began my talk of saying that we are not still using it to the very correct extent. Every time I go to an Indian national lab, what are you doing for Ayush? What are you doing about Tulsi, about Guduchi? Oh, we are doing standardization of date. We are doing standardization of extract. That can only take you so far because there is no real innovation in that. But I have had the extreme benefit of learning from some outstanding people, and Dr. Ashok Vaidya in Mumbai is certainly a genius par excellence. He has worked with many of the world's famous chemists. He has an MD, PhD from Yale and Columbia, came back to Mumbai, and is one of the true pioneers of this whole field called observational therapeutics. So whenever I meet people like that and some extremely talented people, in Marathi we say divyatvachi yet prachiti tethe karamaze jurati, and these are truly people whose skills have to be now better projected even in an overseas context. So typical pharma, you make many molecules, you screen them, but that only takes you so far. And in all of Western pharma, there is one drug, one target. In our approach now, we are using and harnessing the power of traditional medicine, where Dr. Ashok Vaidya calls it in clinical research, where you accumulate experiential clinical data. And we have formed a very good alliance with him, and he always chides us, me and Uday, whenever we go to meet. He says, now come on, think has to start thinking, and you have to start doing innovative things. So yes, we are happy to oblige. So this basically tells you that our starting point is from safe and efficacious traditional medicine. Then you fractionate, then you do all this stuff, but you can shorten the time to market. Please remember, every time some allopathic doctor asks me, in your Ayush therapeutics, there is no cure for HIV protease. But 4,000 years ago, HIV protease was not known. But today, you do the chemistry and all, it is entirely possible that those extracts can be indeed useful. And yes, they can be useful for treatment of COVID also, provided you do things right. Here is really our favorite plant. This is what is known in Marathi and Sanskrit as guduchi. It's better known as Tinospora cordifolia. It is used for a whole lot of different things. And here are some extraordinary people who've contributed a whole body of knowledge. The late Dr. Sharadini Dahanukar was one of them. Urmila Thatte and all that are still around. But my attention was attracted to it for a very different reason. Remember, all the anti-diabetic drugs were being withdrawn from the markets simply because they had enormous cardiovascular risk. Well, Mother Nature has made the leaves of Tinospora heart-shaped, and we got the idea that why not use them as cardiac stimulants. So there was Professor Sane, who actually is in Mumbai, who separated the constituents, and we are busy trying to make the hybrid molecule. This is an absolutely fun story. This is a plant that grows in South Africa, and whenever the natives are walking home, they're far from home, they will eat the leaves of these plants, and they have an instant feeling of satiety. They don't feel hungry anymore, at least till the time they actually reach their home. Now, think of what a magnificent thing this is. Because if you're really tired and succor and sustenance are not coming, you can at least satisfy your hunger pang. Now, Glaxo got the idea that, wow, this can be a good treatment for obesity. Now, in America in particular, and even in UK, obesity is a huge problem. Now, many people will go about eating a lot of food that is really not good for them. So this can help in the process. But there was a huge problem with this particular compound. This particular tree, it grows only 6 inches in 12 years. Now, the solution to obesity is not what some people think. They will eat an incredibly large buffet meal and so on, and oh, I have to keep control of my diet, so please give me some diet Coke, Coca-Cola or diet Pepsi. That's not the answer. So now this plant, even though the investment was for about $2 million, didn't really go anywhere. And then we came across an astonishing find. By computer programs and all that, we found that there is a plant that grows in South India, even Maharashtra, in Pune and Ahmednagar and all that. This plant is the Caralluma fimbriata that has many of the same essential constituents. So why not we apply the transforming power of chemistry and molecular biology? And Rich Roberts is certainly helping us with that one. Why not we put this into the market as an Ayush derived drug? Now, all of you are familiar of the story in Mahabharata when Draupadi fed the entire contingent of Durvas Rishi with those 2 leaves. Now, there is a widespread speculation that those leaves would have been Caralluma fimbriata. I also joked to my friends in India, especially in Pune. I said, next time I come to dinner at your place, you are to give me all the pancha pakwanancha jevan, and you are not to give me just 2 leaves saying that, oh, you have found this about satiety. So we have then gone on to do a lot of other work with biologically active macrolides, and all these structures are there. These compounds are being explored for diabetes, and these are all derived from Indian traditional Ayush medicine. But please remember again and again, until the science is done right, you cannot get international acceptability. There was a famous case some time ago when all the Indian exports were banned by Europe because they found traces of iron and lead in them. Now, Ashok Vaidya was part of a committee to investigate this, and he very rapidly found out that the iron was coming not from the plant itself but from the rusted iron pipes. And the lead was coming from lead solders in buckets that these people were using. So again and again, the quality is very important, and you require a whole team of people to put all this into practice. Here is my favorite story again. This is a reduction of a ketone to an alcohol. It was done by Dr. J.S. Yadav by using Daucus carota. Now that sounds very exotic, but it is ultimately carrots. So we demonstrated this reaction to work. Then Merck told us you have to make it in 200 kilo scale. For that, we needed about a ton of carrots. We went to the Mandai in Pune to buy it, and then immediately we were visited by the police because the next day there was a festival and many people were buying sweets, and people thought we were some bad guys who were trying to corner the market. So that was not particularly productive. We have now done a lot of chemistry which can help the environmental cause by doing reactions in water. Now let me tell you to something, lead you to something that really is the pièce de résistance. I've been a drug discovery chemist, and you are all following the very traditional thing of how drugs are discovered. You make molecules, you inject them into animals like mice and dogs and all that. Then you sacrifice the animals, and then you, by very painstaking processes, study the metabolic pattern and for ADME. All this is an extraordinarily inefficient process. The animal activists are always advising, do not do this testing because it is inhuman, it's bad. And now India has of course banned the export of rhesus monkeys and all, much for the better. I said, I'm a chemist. What do I contribute to this one? One of the earlier speakers said, yes, necessity is the mother of invention. I have a corollary to that. Frustration is surely the mother of innovation. I banked on a lot of these enzymes in the body, which are the oxygenase enzymes, and I said, let me draw inspiration for that. The heme proteins, which is what our blood and all that is made up of, all of that contains a tetraisa macrocycle, and it contains an iron atom at the center. So I said, as a chemist, why don't I go ahead designing and defining an inexpensive, reproducible method which will allow me rigorous control. Now, if to do this, I started with the tetraphenyl porphyrin, but there is a major problem with that one. Take a look at how it tumbles around in solution. It's a flat molecule, so it forms a sandwich-like dimer very, very soon. We said if we put in some steric hindrance around this one, then the molecule will not tumble around so much and it will be stable. And so it proved. Now I have an admission to make to all the chemists in the crowd. Whenever my professors in my MSc year would ask me why a reaction doesn't work this way or that, if I had no idea about the answer, I would look intelligent, raise my hands and say steric hindrance, and the professors will say, yes, that's the correct answer. So this led me on to invent these catalysts, which are now known as the Chorgade dolphin catalyst. These are water soluble, but how do we demonstrate the use? You take a drug like aminopyrine, and then by classical organic chemistry, you predict the metabolites, you can get these all to work, and then you do the experiment. Much to our delight, we found out 4 new metabolites which were all implicated in the toxic side reactions. Now, believe it or not, I was listed on the websites of several organizations like PETA, Prevention of the Unusual Treatment of Animals, PETA. Then I have been listed on Greenpeace as a right-thinking scientist who has the welfare of animals at heart, and I felt very happy to have been so listed. One day my lecture was torn by people from Greenpeace. He says, you pharmaceutical scientists are all insane, but that is not true. We have other alternatives in the works. Let me tell you about our legendary collaborator. He comes to India very often. He values the Indian talent, and that is Professor Colin Suckling, who we have now inducted on our scientific advisory board. He works a lot on C. difficile, and now is working on treatment of diseases like leishmaniasis, like tuberculosis. But his drug, which is now past phase 2 clinical in UK, is amazing. So this is basically the drug, but he found out that it was not metabolizing till he realized that there is this friend Mukund Chorgade there who is always preaching the gospel of steric hindrance. So take a look at what happens when these drugs literally come together. So what happens is that two molecules of this come together, they form a legendary dimer. And then from that point on, this is impervious to cytochrome P450. It doesn't metabolize and so on. Now, whole thing can stack up as pancakes in units of 6, and you can well imagine that this is generating a much larger molecule. So this is not good for us because now the unmetabolized drug increases in concentration in the body. I just told you at the beginning of the lecture that the average American takes 12 to 19 drugs per day. They all take it at breakfast time. And even in India, I have seen this. Many of the elderly, they sit there, they start cutting up the tablets and then they start taking them one after the other. This is definitely not good for you, and it is always a good idea to separate any statin from an anti-diabetic drug by at least 12 hours. So please do not take drugs in the morning, and particularly for the statins, you get pain in the right shoulder, left knee. And that is especially the case when you're taking it with a diabetic and an antihypertensive. So separate them. Now, Professor Grubbs, another very good friend of mine, a Nobel laureate, he says if you use the other enantiomer of Lipitor, will you start getting pain in the left shoulder and right knee instead of what you are seeing? Let me tell you about what we are doing to treat COVID. So I have formed this remarkable alliance, if you will, of Rutgers, the Biocontainment Lab, Strathclyde, New England Biolabs, of course you heard Rich Roberts, National Chemical Lab in Pune, and of course Kasturba Health Society. We have all these collaborators, many of whom I have mentioned. In Mumbai, we have attached Professor Varsha Kelkar Mane. I think she is going to be capable of doing some good things. Uday Ohre, of course, who now runs a Think Society. It is there for advanced training, and you can avail of his help in actually providing courses and all that to your organizations. And he's a extraordinarily skillful marketeer himself. So here is a nice plug for him. But I'm saying avail of all these wonderful facilities that you have, avail of the wonderful people you have, and that includes a lot of the people on your board. Do not let a conference like this be a series of bhajans, pravachans and kirtans from people like me, and then everybody disappears and then nothing ever happens. So here is what we are trying to do. We are blessed in India with various combinations of antiretroviral drugs. Of course, we have accumulated a large inventory of these compounds. Rutgers has pledged another 2,500 compounds. Strathclyde has pledged about 500. What do? Rutgers has expressed the SARS-CoV-2 virus. They have labeled it with all these green fluorescent proteins and other materials designed by Roger Chen. All these people like Roger Chen and all were Nobel laureates. Now he's no more, but his techniques do survive. So we go ahead and find out whether these can indeed bind to the SARS-CoV-2 protein and whether it can completely denature the viral coat. Then we go in by adding these metalloporphyrins that I have alluded to. Now there is some remarkable facts in that one. Colin Suckling has found out that if you make the hydroxy derivative of an antibacterial, it can change to an antiviral compound. One of the huge misconceptions I face in society is that most people confuse an antibacterial with an antiviral. And if you look at the first trials against COVID, people tried azithromycin. Azithromycin is not going to kill COVID-2 or not going to completely neutralize it. For that, you have to start with something ending with a vir. Now, people are talking about remdesivir and saquinavir and all that. That offers you a better chance. And then we'll run this on the actual viral course. My end fun story again about Indian innovation. This was a drug that was being attempted for thalassemia. Now, one of the key raw materials over there, I was called by Novartis, which said that we are buying this from America at $225 a kilo. I find a source in India which is selling this for $4 a kilo. We know you guys are good in process chemistry, but are you that good? And then I looked at the address. It said very nicely, near Tirupati temple complex. Oh wow. Now in India, all the addresses are like that, near this temple, near this post office, near Mehendale garage, etc., etc. But I said, huh, near Tirupati temple. And then it suddenly struck me, God, surely thousands of pilgrims float through the doors. They cut their hair, they donate their hair as an act of penance. Some entrepreneur actually figured out that you can take all these hair and then put them, hydrolyze them with HCl and crystallize out the cysteine hydrochloride. Wow, how impressive. I reported this back, and the Food and Drug Administration USA and Novartis said, oh, we have to inspect this facility. I said, you are surely joking. It's no facility, and those barbers and all don't write resumes and CVs. But we have got to come and see it. So they did. They were impressed and enchanted, in fact, that somebody could figure this out. And then there was some Orthodox Jewish gentleman from New York who said that these hair are also exported for making wigs, and therefore they are going to approve this facility. So it was all a wonderful time. I encourage and exhort all of you to think very carefully about the problems, not just in chemistry or something, but at society at large. I want you to think about building these kind of networks, and if you need help, never ever hesitate to ask. People like me and by everybody else, they are available to help you with curriculum, with academic matters, with technical matters, hopefully to try and raise some money for running laboratories and so on. But it's important not to just unnecessarily complicate the issue. And my last famous story about innovation is simply this. Take a look at what happened with the invention of Viagra. So it was originally intended as a medication for angina pectoris. The whole idea was to increase the thoracic blood cavity, the blood streaming in there and then distending itself after a while. That clinical trial was a miserable failure. Pfizer was obligated to destroy all samples, but the male patients refused to turn it back. So they simply said, well, very good. So this was a joke that arose out of that one, and legend has it, I mean probably all joke, but the original name for Viagra was actually Niagara, to symbolize onrushing torrents of passion. On the highway from Delhi to Agra, there was this magical billboard. It says, come via Agra, you will see man's greatest erection for a woman. Now that had nothing to do with drug discovery. It was obviously talking about Emperor Shah Jahan and Mumtaz Mahal, but look at the wrong English. Now again, legend has it that some entrepreneur made about 9 million copies of this particular t-shirt and sold it. So that really brings me to the end. I have to once again thank you all for providing me this wonderful opportunity for addressing so many students, so many faculty, so many administrators who are all trying their level best to bring together all these educational disciplines to fruition and to bring them all together. But most important, I will encourage you to not just teach these familiar courses. Always encourage some thinking that will be out of the box. Having said that, may I close with my favorite story of a speaker who was asked to communicate to a broad audience, and the audience was asked, oh, did the gentleman succeed in conveying his thoughts in an easily understandable manner? And the chairman of the session said, at the beginning of the talk, there were two people who knew what he was talking about. One was him, the other was God. At the end of the session, that number has been reduced by at least one. I hope that has not been the fate of me today. Thank you very much and do good.
Thank you so much, sir. I'm sure it is not that. We started with one knowing what you're going to talk, and I'm sure we've ended it with thousands and more understanding what you've told. Thank you for being such an inspiration for us. And yes, we did enjoy very, very much the slight humor in every sentence that you made. It's an art to be able to talk so well, so fluently, and keep your audience completely engaged for the 1 hour that you spoke. And yes, I do belong to the chronologically gifted age, as you said, and I'm sure most of us out over here are also belonging to the same category. Thank you for giving us that positive note that yes, we are now chronologically gifted. Thank you for triggering the notion that academic collaborations is the present need and challenge the conventional wisdom also. It was great learning experience and opportunity for each one of us over here. So thank you so much for sparing your time and being with us. Moving on, I would now like to invite Mr. Mahesh Deshmukh, Joint Secretary, IBERD, to announce a surprise, I would say, to make a surprise announcement. Over to you, Mahesh. Sir.
Thank you, Rupa. Friends, as we all know, recognizing and appreciating talent serves as one of the pillars while striving for the excellence. And therefore, Team IBERD had decided to award Best Presenter in each of the sessions. During the last 2 days deliberations, we have 3 rooms and with 2 sessions in each day. And we have decided to give the prizes for the best presenter of the day. So the best paper presenters award for the day first, that is on the June 4th. Here goes the list. Friends, just check out the PPT which has been in front of you. In the room number 1, for the session number 1, we have the best paper presenter award goes to J. Lalitha. Room number 1, session number 1. The best paper award goes to Kiran Gujjar, Pritesh Somani, and Subhash Shingre. Room number 1, session 2nd, we have Vidya Kailash Darvesh. She won the best paper presentation award. Then we have room number 1, session number 2 on the day 1. The award goes to Roshni Mayur Udvani. We come to the room number 2, session 1. We have Surya Suresh Kumar, who won the best paper award. Room number 2, session 1, Sejal Shah, she won the award. Then we have room number 2, session 2, Priyanka Kumar Singh and H.C. Purohit, they won the best paper award. Then we have room number 2, session 2, and the best paper presentation award goes to Lalita Mutreja. Then we come to the room number 3, day first, session number 1, and the best paper presenter award goes to a list of the people, that is Jured Danieline, Brute Rusline, Denora Jaunskine, Indrius Kluklej, and Lina Kuklin. So we have the list of the people who won that particular award. Then we are in the room number 3, session number 2. We have V.S. Kamble and S.T. Salunke, who won the best paper presentation award. And in the room number 3, for the second session, we have Nivatha B and Sriram Manish Kumar for the day first. These are I think we should congratulate them that they have won the best paper presentation award for the day first.
Mahesh, yes, I'm interrupting you. You have skipped one name from room number 3, session 1. PP34. Please read it out.
Room number 3.
Session 1.
Session 1, PP34.
Okay. Pallavi Dhande and Tushar Nikum. I'm sorry. Pallavi Dhande and Tushar Nikum. They won. So I'm really sorry. And thank you, Rupa, and thank you, ma'am. Let's congratulate the day 1 winners. Let's move to the day 2. Ganesham, you there?
Sir, it's changed. It is there. The day 2 is there.
Sir, this is the day 2.
Yes. Ganesham is day 2. Best paper presenters award for the day 2. Room number 1, session 3. It goes to Geeta Suresh. Room number 1, session 3, Kiran Meghnani. Room number 1, session 4, it's KP Aniruddha, Manjiri Bhalerao. Room number 1, session 4, it's Achal Jain and Anushka Mirgani. Then we have room number 2, session 3, it's Smita Manoj Bhoir. Room number 2, session 3, it's Geeta Varun. Then we have room number 2, session 3, and the award has been won by Nilu Khosla. Room number 2, session 4, it's Anu Joshi Joy. Room number 2, the same award like Anu Joshi Joy and Girish Kumar GS. They won the Best Paper Presenter Award. Then we have room number 2, session number 4, it's Bhadri Shah. Room number 3, session 3, Nagare Vishal and Jadhav Rahul. Room number 3, session 3, Sarika Chabria Talreja and Chandra Maurya. Room number 3, session 4, Vishal Rajurkar. Room number 3, session 4, Dinesh Bhagat. And in the room number 3, in the session 4, the third Best Paper Presentation Award goes to Harishchandra A. Parbat and D.V. Prabhu. So I congratulate all the winners who won the Best Presentation Award in the IBERD conference, that is ICETR 2020. One and all.
I will do one correction. I'll do one correction. Room number 3, PP77. Please read the name correctly.
It's Vishal Rajurkar. Oh, sorry, Vaishali Rajurkar. Vaishali Rajurkar. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Mahesh sir and Minakshi ma'am. We are again making a wonderful announcement. Dignitaries, excellencies, and all participants, I'm highly delighted to announce that IBERD is offering fellow awards from this year onwards. I request Dr. Gaikwad to please read the message where the fellow award is being awarded to Sir Richard Roberts. Gaikwad sir, can you please take over?
Yes, absolutely.
Can you?
Yeah. Distinguished Fellowship Award at the International Conference on Empirical and Theoretical Research, June 4, 5, 2020. The International Board for Education, Research and Development proudly confers its Nobel Laureate in Medicine and Physiology, 1993, for his outstanding lifetime contribution towards research and development in molecular biology. We are very happy to announce this particular award, and many, many congratulations for this particular award. We are very, very happy, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Congratulations. We also have one more fellow award this year offered to Honorable Dr. Mukund Chorgade, President and CSO, Think Pharma, USA. Dr. Gaikwad, can you please do the honors?
Absolutely.
Can we have sir?
Yeah, my video, please.
Due to connection, video is off.
Okay. Distinguished Fellowship Award at the International Conference on Empirical and Theoretical Research, June 4-5, 2020. The International Board for Education, Research and Development proudly confers it's a prestigious award of Distinguished IBERD Fellow to Dr. Mukund Chorgade, PhD, for his outstanding lifetime and development in academia and industry and professional mentoring of scientists. Thank you very much, and many, many congratulations, sir.
Congratulations, sir. Yes, ma'am.
I congratulate sir. He deserves big applaud for the same, and I request sir to accept the award from Team IBERD. Mukund sir, are you there?
Mukund
sir, I think he has logged out.
No, I haven't.
He has.
Sir, please accept the award.
Well, it's indeed a great pleasure and honor for me to accept this award as a token of my love and esteem for all of you and vice versa.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank
Over
you.
to Baliram.
So I now invite Dr. Bhushan Lange, the Secretary, IBERD, to propose the vote of thanks.
Thank you, madam. The essence of all beautiful art, all great art, is gratitude. Good evening, everyone. Let me first of all start by giving the glory to the Almighty God for making this 2 days program successful and memorable. After the successful conclusion of this 2 days conference, I take this opportunity to propose my vote of thanks. At the very outset, I extend my hearty vote of thanks to the chief guest of the day, Honorable Dr. Mukund Sorgade, President Think Pharma and Chief Scientific Officer MVRC Research for giving an elaborate coverage to this 2 days conference. Thank you, sir. I am very grateful to Honorable Mr. Ajay Kaul, sir, General Secretary, Children Welfare Center, Mumbai, Honorable Advocate Girijashankar Tiwari, President Somopant Dandekar Shikshan Mandali, Palghar, Dr. Vijetha Shetty, Principal, Vivek College of Commerce, Goregaon, Mumbai, Honorable Mr. Vinay Patil, Chairman, Sahyadri Shikshan Mandals, Arts and Commerce College, Juchandra, Thane, for their valuable remarks in this occasion. I wish to express my deep sense of gratitude to VIA University College, Denmark, Klaipeda State University of Applied Sciences, Lithuania, London School of Business and Entrepreneurship, London, InterAdvice Education Private Limited, India, for their collaboration with us in this venture of organizing international conference. I also extend my heartiest gratitude to Clara's College of Commerce, Warsaw, Mumbai, Somopant Dandekar Arts, VS Apte Commerce, and MH Mehta Science College, Palghar, Sahyadri Shikshan Seva Mandal's Arts and Commerce College, Juchandra, Vivek College of Commerce, Mumbai, for their support by co-organizing this conference. We have been fortunate to have some of the eminent persons from academia, industry, and from different areas as a resource person for plenary talks. My deep gratitude goes to all of them. I take this opportunity to thank all the chairs and coaches of all the rooms and sessions for these 2 days for providing their valuable comments in time and help towards the improvement of quality of papers presented in the conference. I express my gratitude to all the patrons members of this conference, and also I would like to extend my gratitude to the advisory committee of this conference. My thanks goes to organizing committee members who have given their precious time in coordinating this 2 days conference and making it smooth and successful. I couldn't be more grateful to all the delegates who presented their papers in this conference and made this conference successful. I also thank all the attendees who viewed this conference for 2 days. My deepest gratitude to all the panelists who have contributed to this conference in every manner. No event can be done by a single person and couldn't be done overnight. I thank and congratulate the team IBERD, Dr. Minakshi Gurav, President, Mr. Mahesh Deshmukh, Joint Secretary, Ms. Sureka Shetty, Joint Secretary, Ms. Rupa Rao, Joint Secretary, Dr. Dinesh Bhagat, Member, Dr. Ashish Naik, Member, for their tireless job over a month long of time. Now it is a time to mention about the captain of the ship, Dr. Sunil Patil, the founder of IBERD. We have been fortunate enough to be backed by Sir, who is known for his hard work, dedication, and perfection 24/7. On behalf of Team IBERD, I thank you, Sir, for being truly inspirational. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you so much.
कितवं सेशन झालं फायनल लास्ट म्हणजे आता अवॉर्ड बिवॉर्ड हे सगळं झालं
Yes. Rupa madam. Minakshi ma'am, upon meeting, should we close the meeting?
Just I make one announcement for participants.
Okay.
Participants now will need certificates. So we'll be giving certificates in soft copy within a week. And the full length papers will be published in the said journals in a span of a month, because it will take time to review and recorrect and resubmission. So we need at least that much of time. So I announced that the certificates will be given in a period of a week, and the publications will be in a period of a month. I thank everybody who had been the part of the whole team IBERD, and I consider now whoever is there is the part of the team IBERD. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Ma'am, we are also thankful to the White Code because they have done an admirable job. Amit, Ganesham, Sneha, the team, entire team of White Code has done a remarkable job.
So will we get a recording of this meeting?
Yes,
Sure,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir. You will get it.
Okay, please.
White Code sir had already thanked, and I'm also thankful to White Code. Along with that, I thank Khwaja Sayed, who had designed all the slides. Whatever you could see in between the slides of the presenters, before every presentation, the slide of the plenary talk speaker, chair, co-chair, and all those who had contributed for this conference was designed by Khwaja Sayed. So I thank him also. So there are, the words are not enough to express the gratitude to every one of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks. Now we can close the meeting. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Very
Thanks to each one of you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ganesham, we are closing the meeting. Sir, thank you very much. Thank to each and everyone for being the part of this particular conference and making it a success. Thank you. Commissioner.